This lab is unsteady aerodynamics lab. In this lab, we deal with generally incompressible and compressible flow related unsteady problem mostly. So, in incompressible flow, we deal with several problems which are both where the density is not changing and some cases where the density is changing. So, I will explain one by one those setups, and then compressible flow obviously the density changes, but compressible flow we are talking about the high speed flow where the compressible flow is generated in a shock tube, and there is a shock tube facility in which the compressible flow is generated, and I will discuss what we do with respect to that. So, most of the incompressible flow work I will start with a flow where density varies first. So, that is a buoyancy driven flow which is a plume. So, right now we have a setup, two setups in which we work on buoyant plume, behavior of buoyant plume. This simulates the part of this problem is supported by BARC, where it simulates the fire in a cold environment. So, where we use helium and air and to create a buoyant flow, and then its behavior we study in sealing and in a confined environment. So, or in an open environment also. Parallelly, we do this buoyant flow studies, the very fundamental problem in terms of the stability of the buoyant flow. So, buoyant flow when the buoyant plumes creates, there is something called puffing, which is also similar to puffing of puffing which is seen in the fires. So, this puffing instability is one of the phenomena that we have understood in this problem, where we have done the instability analysis. Subsequently, we have looked into the turbulent plumes behavior and things like that. One of the major challenge in this, why I started the buoyancy driven flow, because this is a low speed flow where density is changing. One of the major challenge in the fluid dynamics is density measurement along with the velocity measurement. So, in this lab we do lot of experiments and lot of experimental techniques also. So, in experimental techniques primarily we use conventional pressure measurement, hot wire measurement for the velocity measurement, but the modern optical techniques such as particle image velocimetry, high speed particle image velocimetry or time resolved particle image velocimetry we use in this. And other than that, we do now we have started developing a tool for measuring density, which is called background oriented layering technique, where we actually get the 3-dimensional density field of this circular or square plume, which in this technique development is also supported by BARC. This is a project of BARC. So, where we can actually find the density of the entire 3-dimensional density field. So, I will show that setup also.
And what about the birds?
So, I will talk about that. So, this is first buoyancy driven flow. So, about the other low speed flow that we talk about the low speed flow in conventional fluid dynamics flow, and another is UAVs. So, the UAV work that we do, which is a low speed UAV, low Reynolds number UAV, which is not like the conventional other UAVs very commonly that we see like the quadcopter or the fixed wing UAV. What we work on is the flapping wing UAV that you are seeing some of the models here. This flapping wing UAV, they fly exactly like birds. So, I will provide some videos. So, this bird work is actually our very original work, in that sense that we have identified how the birds fly and we have made the models accordingly, and the bird models that we have made, we have patented also, and this is supported by national program of micro air vehicle initially, subsequently IIT Kanpur also supported some part of this work. And these birds can fly, if we in a nutshell, if we try to tell you that Why birds? Because birds will be the future generation UAVs. One of the reason is it has less noise, it does not have any rotary part like the propellers and blades like helicopters. Also it so it produces less noise. Second, it can camouflage very nicely, and third is efficiency. A flapping wing, flexible flapping wing driven this birds, there if a the battery that can run a quadcopter for 20 minutes will run a bird, will fly a bird for about 50 minutes. So, that is the kind of endurance that one can achieve with these birds. So, this is how the different bird models that we have. This is one model which can hover, there is other models which can fly for hours, and we have many other models that we have. We also have the birds which can do the maneuvering, like you will see often the drongos does. So, these are the different models that we are working, we have developed and we are working on. The other part of the low speed flow, where we are looking at the vortex rings, where we have done lot of very good quality publications in terms of the vortex ring that we have we could get from this lab. And this incompressible vortex ring, we have what we have done, we have given a generation method. This vortex ring has been studied for more than 150 years, but we gave a method how to create a clean vortex ring. And then based on this, once we have created a clean vortex ring, we have shown many of the theories that are developed. Out of that, which one is best theory to predict the ring velocity, and that is 1972's Cambridge University one work, which is best, and as far as the theoretical model. Same way, we have shown that some of the models for other properties of these vortex rings that is existing today, they are not accurate enough. So, new models are required. These vortex rings also you will see often in compressible flow. So, we have also worked on compressible vortex ring, where this work is mainly supported by ISRO, and there we are looking at the starting flow of GSLV Mark III. So, we have this GSLV new launch pad. So, we have a scale model of GSLV launch pad in the lab. So, 1:50 scale model, in which we generate the starting flow, initial starting flow using shock tubes. So, 2 strap-ons are modeled with 2 shock tubes, and initial flow was created. So, we measured the velocity field, and we also looked into the acoustic load on the vehicle because of the delay in starting of 2 strap-ons, because 2 strap-on does not start simultaneously, there will be always few millisecond delay. So, what is the effect of that on the vehicle, because the acoustic load that comes back on the vehicle from the launch pad. So, we have this launch pad model, and we did this experiment. Also, the compressible vortex ring, we also did some fundamental work in terms of with the collaborators who are primarily in CMERI, Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute. They do the CFD, Dr. Sudipto De and Dr. Murugan. Murugan is the student from this lab. So, they do the CFD and we do the experiment here, and we recently we are also doing this vortex ring simulation with Professor Ashok De in the department. So, these are my collaborators as far as CFD part is concerned. So, we looked in the compressible vortex ring behavior. We have given a model for it, how the translational velocity of the compressible vortex ring will behave. We also identified few interesting phenomena in compressible vortex ring, and we have explained how those interesting phenomena occur and why it occurs. Other than that, we also do the transition work in internal flow, internal pipe flow, which is the unsteady flow in a pipe, which is like a you can think of flow in the flow through the arteries from the heart. So, where you have oscillatory flow or unsteady flow, the transition of that unsteady flow we look into. Okay. So, these are broadly the kind of work that we do. Instability of the different flow, like in jet instability, instability in unsteady pipe flow. These are some of the instability work we look at. Then we look at the vortex sting work, incompressible, compressible vortex sting work, and then vortex sting interacting with the different bodies. So, one of the work we do is the vortex sting interacting with an axisymmetric interaction and then also the normal interaction. So, these are for compressible vortex sting, because when you talk about the short takeoff or VTOL aircraft, then you have a starting flow which actually is a vortex sting impinging on a flat plate. So, those kind of work we do for the compressible flow. So, this is the nutshell, the entire 4 or 5 problem that we handle in this lab. Recently, we have started collaborating with Dr. Abhishek, and where we are looking at the flow field of Dr. Abhishek develops lot of vehicles. So, particularly the new kind of UAVs, rotary wing UAVs. So, in that those rotors characteristics, aerodynamic characteristics and the noise characteristics, that is the focus on those work, the recent work.